All right, we are officially live. Hey everybody, how you doing? This is David Kurz once again bringing you episode 5 of the Veteran Wealth Podcast, a podcast completely designed to bring knowledge and benefit and wealth abilities to the veteran community. I don't even know if I'm saying that shit right, but at the end of the day, we want to bring veterans a ton of knowledge, and we want civilians to hear this and see what veterans are truly about. We bring a lot of real estate related stuff to you guys, but we've also brought in the VA. We've also brought in accountants. We've brought in as many veterans as we possibly can, and we're lined up for like the next couple months on great people like Andrew, who's with me today. Thank you, Andrew, for doing this with me. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm super excited. I mean, when you asked me to do this, I didn't even nothing even said doubted it. I just jumped right on the opportunity because I know you're doing some great things in real estate, but also in the veteran community. So anything we can do to, provide tidbits here and there to the veterans and
Awesome,
then the civilians, like you said. So
awesome, man. So big thing. Tell me a little bit about Andrew. Where are you from? What service did you serve in? How long? And when did you get out?
yeah. So I grew up in upstate New York. My mom and dad both public service people. My dad was a cop for 17 years. Then he passed away when I was 15. And then
Wow.
my mom, she actually retired from social services at 34. Kind of how my upbringing was is I was the only child, spoiled rotten, right? Like my parents gave me everything I wanted, even though they were middle class, and I was just a rotten kid. And I went to juvie for 9 months.
It's funny how you could grow up and admit that, right? I was a rotten fucking kid, bro.
Yeah, I just wasn't, I was just all about myself, self, and nothing else. And, my dad passed away as I was going to juvie. So I spent 9 months in juvie, and then I came out and I was just smarter at what I was doing. So went to college for a little bit. And then while in college, I realized that, college wasn't for me, right? I was more like get my hands dirty, get in the trenches. And I had literally looked at myself in the mirror, and I was always like ripped and shredded and stuff like that. And drinking like Keystone Light, smoking weed, stuff like that, right? And then in college, it kind of caught up to me, and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. So I joined the Army. And then from there, kind of then 9.5 years there. So
Awesome, bro.
yeah.
And so you were in the Army for 9.5 years. I'm assuming you got out as a staff sergeant or what?
Yeah.
Sergeant?
Yes. Yeah. So I joined the Army. I was a chemical guy, 74 Delta. And then I was also airborne. So I went to the 82nd Airborne. I was there for a month. 1 month, and they were like, hey, you're going downrange. And that was when the military or the Army thought it was a great idea to send dudes over there for 15 months at a time, take them away from their family and loved ones for 15 months, right? So I
because that's the smart thing to do, right? That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, let's throw somebody's family in shambles for 15 months, put somebody in a super stressful situation, and then have their spouse taking care of a bunch of kids by herself for 15 months, right?
Yeah.
More than likely not around family or friends because they're at a base away from all that. So I got there into Iraq, Camp Taji, and I was only there for 6 months. And I was like, man, there's got to be something better. I can't do this regular Army stuff. So then I got back, still did that for a little bit. And then I went to Ranger Battalion, or RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program, to go to a Ranger unit. So then I did that for 3 years, 3 deployments there. And then kind of got burned out. So I went as a support guy, I went to a Special Forces unit, thought I was going to get a break. So I did not really a break. I did 2 longer deployments there. So it was good though. Yeah, just having fun. But I definitely got burned out quick. So
yeah, I can imagine. So let me ask you this: you get out the military, why?
So it kind of started when I was in the military. There was something in me, and you have a similar story because we talked about it before, actually, on Alive with Me. And I was like, man, I really resonate with that. I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. I thought I was only using like a small portion of my capacity, you know, and I was like, man, you know, I love what I'm doing. I love being around the camaraderie and the guys, and you know, it's mostly guy units that I've worked in. So, and I'm not saying anything against like females, because I know there's some badass females out there. So, but that was just the units I was in. It was mostly guys, and I was like, man, I love these guys. What am I going to do when I got out? So I started building like businesses while I was in. I was in a network marketing company, had a pretty big organization, hundreds of people around the world. And I was making income on that, you know, the BMW through the company, residual income, all this fun
Yeah.
stuff. So then I was like, man, so I was getting a a taste of what life could be like after, right? So then I started doing real estate flipping, or houses, lease option, rentals, and that failed miserably. Don't ever borrow money from your families and friends, you know, find it other places. So I found myself in like $200,000 worth of debt, as far as like the
Wow.
house flipping and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely felt like that analogy they talk about with salmon swimming upstream, dude, for like 3 years until I like clawed my way out of that debt, you know, just like the stress. But I learned so much through that. So I got a little taste of real estate then, but I wasn't an agent. So when I got out, I was like, okay. So I went back to school, college. I was going to University of West Florida, kind of really liking it, you know. But my network marketing company stopped paying us. So my money, so I had my VA money, my BAH from the Army, but I had no income from that.
Wow.
So that was what I was really relying on, right? So I kind of was like, man, what am I going to do? I was super stressed out because I was trying to claw my goal was to pay all the families and friends first, and then I'll worry about myself later, because I'm the one that got us all into this, right? So get them right, and then I can figure me out. So that was the goal. So then I was like, my buddy called me and he was like, hey, an old sergeant major that I worked with at 7th Group, and he was like, hey, do you want a contracting job? And I was like, not really, you know, because they were offering me one at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to Vietnam. And so I actually committed to them. So I signed an offer letter and everything, I'm moving to North Carolina. And they called me and they're like, hey, we have to rescind the offer. And it was just like one thing after another. I'm like, dang, so all this debt, my company's not paying me. You know, my my signed offer letter got rescinded. So I'm just like, man, what am I going to do? Like, I should have just stayed in, you know, like all these thoughts and
Yeah.
everything were running
Yeah.
through my brain. And I'm like, no, you know, I just kept having to tell myself, no, I made the decision for a reason. You know, I'm burned out. I can't just keep deploying. I'm like, you know, I made the decision for a reason. So I moved. So they called me 2 weeks later and offered me the job in Colorado at Fort Carson. So I was like, yes, a win, right? So then, and I was like, when I get a win, you got to just keep piling on the win. So I really
Yeah.
ran with the program here, and you know, I met a lot of great guys, kind of dug into the community here, and you know, there's that. So
Awesome, bro. So now, what would you attribute? Now you're in full-time real estate. You're a part of EXP Realty.
yep,
You know, how long have you been in real estate? Like just as a licensed agent selling real estate?
yep, 29 months. It's
Yo.
kind of fun. Yeah. So the company that went kind of belly up or stopped paying us at that time, I met Jay Nelson through that company. He was a top leader there, and he was like, "Hey, Andrew, get your license in Florida." When he owned his Remax in Nashville, and I'm like, "Dude, it's just not profitable for us to start a team with Remax in Florida. The model just doesn't support it."
Right.
And he was like, "All right, I agree." So then he just kept bugging me, and I've known this dude for like 8 or 9 years. He just kept bugging me. So I started referring. All right, kind of funny. I started referring agents to him before I was in
Wow.
EXP. And he called me and he was like, all right, we're done with this crap. I'm not taking any more agents. You know, you're getting your license. So I got my license 29 months ago, my first year. While I was working a full-time job with the government. Now, when I say full-time, I had very flexible schedule. So it was full-time, but it wasn't. I did 22 deals my first year, 6 million, and then second year, 20 million, 67 deals. And now this year we have a team of 13 agents and we're onboarding 4 more locally. So,
Nice.
yeah, so it's just been a good, and I tell people all the time, they're like, how did you do it? I don't know. I worked hard and I just figured
Oh,
it
okay.
out.
All
And
right. Now let's get into that. Let's dive into
yeah,
that because most real estate agents get their real estate license and they're lucky if they do a million or two in their first year.
yeah,
And forget about the second year. They get so discouraged with the million or two in their first year that the second year maybe they do two and a half. And it is a discouraging feeling when you get a license that you instantly you think, oh shit, I got my real estate license, instant millionaire. I'm gonna be on $1 million
yeah,
listing wherever I
yeah,
live. You know, and I'm gonna have a TV show, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and then very few are consistent with it, and so then the numbers don't add up. So you sell $2 million, you made a whole 60 grand. You had to split with a company, and 60 if it was all at 3%, right? So
yeah.
you made a whole 60 grand that year. Maybe you walk away with 50, and it doesn't feel like you're a real estate agent. It doesn't feel like you see it. Like a lot of people see it and they just think like this shit's easy, but it's not. This
No,
job is not easy. This
no.
career path, this business is not easy. Talk to me about this because I need to dial down on how Andrew gets a real estate license and in the first year does six and the second year does more than double.
So I'm actually building a 4 module system based off this, how to build your network and social media and stuff like that. And I'll release it. You can share it with whoever you want, David, once it's built. And I'll share it with actually whoever, because I'm not trying to monetize it at this point. I'm just trying to help the newer agent. So basically what I did was like I said, I had a job and it was paying good. So I took the expendable income I had from that, and I knew that I'm a brand new person. I don't have a sphere in Colorado. I need to build this sphere as fast as possible, like humanly possible. So whether that takes time, money, sacrificing some time with family or friends or social, whatever that was, I knew I had to do it fast. So I bought leads. So I bought leads. I joined networking groups. I did all this stuff to fill my pipeline because I knew with anything, it's a numbers game. Yes, my skills have to come up, and my skills will come up, right? Every time you do something, your skill gets a little bit better if you're competent on what you're missing or where it went wrong and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I just need to fill my pipeline. So started doing Facebook ads with some marketing teams, Google ads. Don't crucify me, realtors. I bought Zillow ads or leads,
Yeah.
like that. But I needed to get something going because, for one, I needed to get my face out there. People need to see me, because that's why I love. Some people hate it, some people love it, but I love social media. It's the fastest and the easiest way to touch the largest amounts of people,
I love it.
as quick
I'm
as,
with you.
yeah, and it's free. Most of the
Yeah.
time it's free. So I was like, okay, so I need to post 7 to 10 times a day on my stories. I need to post lifestyle, family, friends, real estate stuff. I just need to be very consistent, and I need to join groups. So I joined a kickball league, started networking with agents and lenders and title people. I just really just networked in all facets: social media, in person, emails, buying leads. And one thing I did screw up with, though, and I tell people this, is I did not manage my CRM the way I should have. I didn't have good follow
Ooh.
up. I know. But now it only took me 5 million in lost volume to realize that. We went through when COVID hit. I was like, yep, that's not going to happen again. That is around 100 to 125,000 GCI. If we're working, yeah. So it took me yeah. But it's just a lot of that grind and that work, and just kind of listening. And I like to try stuff for 90 to 120 days before I find out if it works or it doesn't work, because I think that's the sweet spot. Now, yes, some people are 6 months to a year out from purchasing a home, right? However, you'll know if those systems are working. So I like to kind of try stuff. And if it's not working, I get rid of it. I cut the cost and I try to, but I don't just put that money back in my bank account. I put it back into my business, in some form or fashion. Um, So that's hopefully that
That's
answers your
awesome,
question.
man. Yeah, it does, and it led to a few more. So something that you said was very early on. You sold 22 houses your first year, so very early on, you understood one thing: I need to fill my pipeline, which means I need to invest in myself. So you bought leads, right? Which a lot of people are like, and of course, no one's going to crucify you in this group for buying Zillow leads or anything like that, because honestly, if there are people out there that are killing the game with Zillow leads, right, spending 30 grand a month, and or more, and at this point, I just had a conversation with the team the other day. They're spending about $1 million a year in overhead, just to sell the volume that they want to sell and create. And so, but early on, you can't do that stuff, and people go, okay, Andrew, Dave, I can't spend $1 million a year. I can't spend, $50,000 a year. All right, so where do we begin? What is your budget? So, what did you do? Like, did you say, okay, cool, I'm gonna pick this platform, I'll spend $200? Like, what was it? Like, how did you
Okay.
start that?
All right. So I'm actually gonna.
Because look, no matter what business you're in, it's really about filling your pipeline if you're in the sales, right? So like,
Yep.
you often hear me say lollipops, bicycles, real estate, doesn't fucking matter. Like you've got to fill a pipeline with potential clients in order for you to sell the product. If I want to sell this cup of coffee, I got to fill my pipeline with people who like coffee. And then I got to
Yeah.
push it on them so hard that they see me so much that these little green leaves become synonymous with this black hat in this face. And so what did you do?
So I'm gonna actually give you my first two modules of the course I'm building, if that's okay. So
Oh yeah.
so the goal that we're teaching everybody is the target is 5,000 friends on Facebook. And how you do that is Facebook suggests who you should friend request every day. So you should max that out every day. Now, how I would fill my pipeline if I was starting over is I would go through all my emails, Hotmail, AOL, Gmail, and I would take all those emails to include my phone, any contact I had, and I would put them directly into our CRM. And I would start building a newsletter through whatever CRM you have. We use KB Core, and then we use API Nation to transfer it over to Constant Contacts for our weekly newsletters. And I would build out a weekly newsletter. When I say weekly, I don't mean multiple times a week. I mean one time a week to build that. That for one, people don't like being spammed. Two, you need to provide value, and three, you need to be top of mind. So one time a week is fine. Pick a time, consistent, Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Some people say Tuesdays are better, some say whatever. Just pick a day, be very consistent with it. And I would just start building my contacts on Facebook. And while I'm doing that, I would start adding those people on Instagram too. And every time I'd meet somebody, I'd add them on Facebook and I would add them on Instagram. And I would just try to get as much contact information from them as possible: phone number, email, name. And how you get their names on Facebook is you go to the about, or their email. You'll go to their about, you'll get their email and phone number. Yes, sometimes the email and phone number, is old, but something is better than nothing. $1 is better than zero. So always remember that, right? So I would be filling my pipeline through social media. It is free. So, and then I would figure out DM strategies. So there's 3 different strategies that we're going to be using. And again, I'm going to be giving this program away. Everybody on David Kurz' team will have it for free if you guys want to implement it. There's a DM strategy. It's called Hunt, Farm, Cultivate. Hunt, I would be going to people directly. Hey, are you looking to buy or sell now? Farming is, hey, did you hear anybody, or do you know anybody looking to buy or sell now? And a cultivate is kind of like, hey, I just saw you posted your son won their baseball tournament. That is freaking awesome. Congratulations. Hope all is well. Those are the 3 different strategies we're going to be using. And obviously I'm going to have scripts built in and stuff like that you can modify for situations. But those strategies, the first module is like, okay, fill your pipeline through social media, go to networking events, physically dump your phone into your CRM. And what I mean is you need to take contacts, and you may need to write them out or type them in, but you need to go through that process, because when people tell me they don't know anybody, bull crap. Everybody knows somebody, and you just need, and if that person's in California and you're selling real estate in Miami, they may know somebody that needs some help or needs a real estate resource. And guess what you get? For one, you get that experience with a referral network and building that contact and building that relationship with that agent in California. And then also you could potentially get 25, 30% off that referral, which fills your pipe, helps you get to your cap or your book of business, stuff like that.
Right, because real estate and business in general is no longer local unless you're a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a restaurant, then yeah, that's local because the people right around your restaurant are going to come to eat there. But when you're selling product, it's no longer local. And real estate used to be considered local because, yeah, you can't take the house and ship it to somebody, right? Like people come into your neighborhood to live in your neighborhood. But with social media, like you've said, we're able to sell real estate all over the daggone planet. And we don't have to be licensed there. We just send a referral out. We send that referral business out. And typically to someone who's already in our CRM, who's been in contact with us, who's been in communication with us, like you and I would send referrals to each other. And so when you see that kind of stuff, man, I'm happy you brought those two up. And I'm looking forward to checking out the modules and the system that you're creating and sharing it with our team so that they can take a look at it, because there is something to be said, and I know the purpose of this is to empower veterans. Look, guys, we're not telling you got to get a real estate license. I don't want you to take that away here. What we're telling you is that no matter what you decide to do, you have to fill a pipeline. Chances are you might have to buy some lists or leads or anything else just to begin conversations with people. You do have to sacrifice. There will be sacrifice with massive growth. And we didn't even get into that conversation. We might have to do a volume 2 of this podcast because I don't want it to go on forever as it could, right? And there are strategies involved, and the hunt, farm, cultivate can be a strategy used in any type of business. So if you're getting into business, you're opening your own business, you're doing any of this stuff, you're in sales. At the end of the day, we're all salespeople, and you, in order to be good at it, you have to really, truly understand how to develop the clientele and then how to pitch them, how to sell them, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, if you had to leave one comment, because we're coming on our limits. Well, we passed our limit already, but
sorry, I kind of went on.
This is excellent. Don't worry about it. This is excellent. If you had to drop one piece of knowledge on our veteran community, if you had to drop one thing on them, and people have come from all different aspects when I ask this question, from while they're in, when they're out, like business, getting into something. If you had to drop one piece to somebody out there that's looking at Andrew, says, damn, Andrew, I'm on my 9th year right now and I'm about to get out, I'm freaking out, what's the one piece of knowledge you jump on them?
You just got to commit. You got to just go all in. I would tell people you got to take your shot, because if you don't take your shot, nobody's going to take it for you. And yes, you may fail. I failed miserably on my real estate investment company, right? And I could have drowned in my sorrows and felt sorry for myself. But I don't learn that much from my wins. I'm like, okay, yeah, I already know it. I know what I did right. But I learned so much from just going through that 36 months of pulling myself out of debt. But if I wouldn't have took that shot, it probably wouldn't have set me up for where I'm at now, right? And we're just getting freaking started, in my opinion. So I'm just but if I wouldn't have went through that, mentally, physically, all that stuff, emotionally, with my family and friends, then it probably wouldn't have set me up to where we're going.
Right. So number 1 is commit. And number 2 is chances are you will have some type of hiccup in your forward movement. Don't let it consume you.
Yep.
Pick up and roll.
Stay committed. Take what you can from it. Move on though. Always move forward. So,
dude, thanks for doing this with me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. To the folks who have commented and shared this, I appreciate you. And this will be on my YouTube, on my Facebook. It will end up as an IG TV shot in my Instagram. And it will also end up on our podcast, Veteran Wealth Podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere. So, Andrew, again, thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate you. It's a really great time. And to everyone out there, again, we hope we're bringing you this knowledge, this massive, amazing knowledge. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Andrew, and I'm wishing you massive success moving forward.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I could be a bystander watching it happen, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's anybody that wants to add me on social media, pick my brain. If I can share anything that you got going on, we both have a big following. Just let me know how I can provide value.
Yeah. Give everybody your social address, because some people are watching this. Some people are going to hear it.
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Andrew M. Vose. And then Andrew Vose, I have two Facebooks, but it's the one with my daughter and I in the mountains. It's actually a beautiful view over Palmer Park in Colorado. And then, so those are the best ways. And then if you want to text me, 315-651-1597, that's direct to me. So
awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks again, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, sir.